Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Roop Rai, and you're watching Gen Z Unfiltered on Ideas on Point, which is brought to you by TCSAN. We're live Monday to Thursday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time on Facebook and YouTube at TCSAN2. And you can also follow us on Instagram for behind-the-scenes updates at TCSAN2 as well. Before I introduce today's topic, a quick message from the sponsor of our weekly giveaway. This week, TCSAN's giveaway is brought to you by Authentic Desi, an Indian grocery store in Calgary that offers you free delivery. You can place your order online at calgarydesistore.com. For the giveaway, you could win $50 to spend at either one of the 2 Authentic Desi locations in Calgary, but only if you like this video and like and follow TCSAN's Facebook or Instagram page. So please go ahead. Hit that like button and get entered into a draw for $50. And don't forget, calgarydesistore.com. And you can also WhatsApp them at 403-477-7345. And that's how you win $50. Please like and share this post, like and follow this page, and you're good to go. As you can probably tell from the way I look, I'm ready to sit back, relax, and watch today's show because it's going to be hosted by Gen Z themselves. When we first started this show, Gen Z Unfiltered, the goal always was to make them more independent, to be able to use this platform to express themselves, to share, to grow, to learn new skills, to become more confident. So I'm really excited to see, as you are, hopefully, to see the conversation Gen Z has in store for us today. Thank you. Enjoy.
Education is the key to success. It is something that we either believe or have been told. Part of this system, or part of what we believe today, leads with high school and university, both of which are great privileges, which me, Amrit, and Simrit have been very privileged to have access to. Me and Amrit currently attend high school and are looking to get into university, whereas Simrit is currently in university. Regardless of which, all 3 of us continue to make major decisions which will lead the rest of our lives. We do volunteer work to make our applications look good, the very applications which are stressful to be filling out, the deadlines which we have to meet, and scholarships that we apply for to make our lives just the slightest bit easier. Everyone gets to see a little bit of the application part. However, not many people get to take the inside look into the stress that gives us, the anxiety, the procrastination, and sometimes even depression. Today, 3 of the many Gen Zs are here to let you know, or to give you an inside look at what the background process really is like. We are joined by Amrit and Simrit. So let's start off by talking about our experience of applying to universities, especially from when we're in high school. So Amrit, why don't you go first and let us know and let the viewers know a little bit about how it feels to be undergoing such a stressful time.
Yeah, so I'm currently in high school, second semester of grade 12 almost, and I'm applying for universities and scholarships and all of those things. And it is pretty stressful. Lots of people may think that we have it together, right? Because we might make it look like that, but it's actually hard and stressful, and it can be very devastating sometimes because there's so many deadlines to meet. There's so many tasks you have to organize and keep updated on, and you need to fill out so many forms and hand in so many documents. It can get very daunting. And so I just want to say that, yeah, it's a hard process, right? It's not easy because this is like we're going into the next chapter of our lives. It's scary almost. It's stressful, and but we'll get through it, I guess. We're learning as we go, and yeah.
And Simrit, you've already undergone this transition from high school to university. What was your experience like? What did you struggle with, or what is something you still struggle with?
Yeah, so applying for university for me was very overwhelming. I was exploring my options. I was anxious about getting in university, keeping my grades up. And I used to visit the guidance counselor's office a lot, just asking for advice, asking if me feeling like I don't know what I want to do with my life after high school, or I don't know what I want to study, was normal, right? And so, but once I got my acceptance letter, I knew it was going to be okay, and that's where my life was really going to begin. And so all that stress that I had was over for a short period of time. And then, of course, the stress of university began. But like the majority, you just learn to cope, right?
I know for myself, applying for universities was a lot like walking into a dark tunnel without a flashlight. All I knew is I have to get through and do all these things, keep the grades up, apply, and hopefully get an offer from somewhere. But I had so many questions about what should I be doing, what program should I be going in, because it's not a small decision, right? The whole application process is full of stress, anxiety, and a lot of procrastination because looking at all the things we have to do is quite daunting. So, starting with Simrit, how did you deal with all this overwhelming emotion and all the questions and all these feelings that you had throughout the process?
Okay, yeah. So if I'm being honest, I wasn't really like a school person. I wasn't really stressed about my grades or school at all. And then when it was time to apply for university, it like hit me really hard. And so um I was stressed during diploma time the most because that was very impactful whether or not I would even get accepted to university. And so when stressful times like that came, um I would just calm myself down, like meditate or read a book or something, or I would distract myself, like watching a movie. And I would like trust myself and have enough confidence in myself to know that during the end of the race I did put in hard work. So I knew I was gonna get what I wanted and I would find a way to do so.
There are so many overwhelming factors in the whole process, starting off with, am I choosing the right program? How am I going to pay for it? Will I be meeting the deadlines? And I think at the end of the day, I just want to know that I put in my most effort, so I'll be okay with it. Having that confidence in myself that yes, you are enough, and trying to be able to move forward with that. Now, of course, I can't feel like that every day. So with the days that I struggled with the confidence, I would just talk to a friend and let them know that I was feeling like this because they're also feeling the same way. They are going through the same feelings as I am at the moment. And Amri, how are you dealing with this right now?
Yeah, so like both of you said, it's hard, right? Like it's a lot about self-confidence and yes, you are enough and like just reassuring yourself that it's going to be okay. So what my experience has been is the opposite of that. I've been kind of a wreck and it's kind of messy. The stress that came on me all at once when I started applying, it was so much. I didn't know what to do, and I kind of broke down, and I didn't know where to go from there. And so, like Yashkira said, talking to a friend really helps. And I actually talked to her a lot through that, and she reassured me that yeah, it is going to be okay. And same with Simran, she also reassured me the same thing. And so it's just been, I've been learning to deal with it and cope with it more. And some things that have helped are, like Simran said, distracting myself with TV or a fun activity, like reading a book even, or I've been exercising regularly. So that's been helping a lot as well.
Those were three very different perspectives on what the application process is like. Now, of course, a part of this will come with how our parents feel because they do play a huge part in our lives. So, have you ever felt like you're going to disappoint your parents or other people who believe in you? I know for myself, it's a huge factor because my parents sacrificed so much. They moved to a whole new country just so I can have the opportunities that I have today. So, I want to make it worth their time and their sacrifices. That I want to be something for myself, but more importantly, I want to be something for them as well because they've done so much for me. So, Amrit, again, I guess, what is your look on that?
Yeah, so to answer your question, if I think about that, like disappointing them, and my answer is every single day. That's like one of my biggest fears, right? Is to disappoint the people that believe in me and have put in so much work for me to get these opportunities and for me to be here in Canada getting an education, right? So it's hard sometimes because when you're going through all the stress, right? You kind of feel like a failure, or at least I can speak for myself. But sometimes I feel like I'm not enough. I didn't do enough. I've been procrastinating. I wasn't productive enough. Like, oh my God, like what's going to happen? I'm going to be such a big failure, right? But then at the end of the day, it's no matter how much you do, it's like, if you know you've done enough, it's enough, right? And but disappointing that my parents, so coming back to that, it's scary because I really don't want to do that, right? Because they put in so much work and I've been putting in work for so many years, and I just don't want like that whole connection, that relationship to break down, right? So the moment I feel like I'm doing something wrong and that I'm not going to succeed, I immediately think, oh my God, no, I need to, because my parents are there. They're expecting me to come out at the end of this with more knowledge, with more experience, with success, right? So it's really scary because sometimes it feels like there's so many expectations that you can't do anything wrong. You can't make any mistakes, and that if you do, there's nowhere left for you to go.
So for me, I don't personally feel the burden disappointing anyone who is vouching for me. I've just started feeling like this recently. Before, like Omri and Ishkrit said, of course my parents have sacrificed so much for me as well, right? As most parents do. But just recently I haven't been feeling like that, just because I know I want to be successful for myself. And so again, just back to the self-confidence thing, I'm confident in myself to know that I will make it work one way or another. And as long as I'm happy with what's going on in my life, I'm fortunate enough to have people like my family and all my loved ones that they support me. They support me no matter what, as long as what I'm doing with my life is not harming myself or anyone else. And you know, like once you start growing up and like you start dealing with going to university, you realize that you can make any choice for yourself, and you get the hang of kind of realizing what's actually better for your own life. And just an epiphany I've personally have had is that the life you're living is yours to live. And even though there are expectations from your surroundings, like your family, your peers, just the community, you realize you are living it for yourself. So whatever choices you make are yours to make and live through. So even if you make a mistake or the choice you chose was not essentially beneficial to you right away, you learn resilience, right? And that builds character. So you're winning either way.
Simrat has made an extremely important point about resilience and being good enough for yourself, and at the end of the day, everything being okay. Now, I think all three of us have been very fortunate to have such supportive parents. So a huge shout out to them for everything they've done that has led us to be where we are today. Now, Simrat has experienced something me and Amrit will very soon experience, that is the change from high school to university, which I've been told is high school and university are not very similar, and there's a huge jump. So Simrat, how has that change been, and what are some added pressures of this change? What are some added pressures of being in university compared to high school?
Yeah, so I think there's a huge expectation just from yourself being a high school student and then about to become a university student. Like you expect yourself to have your life together by the time you start university. You expect yourself to be more responsible and just achieve everything you've ever aspired. There obviously comes a lot of stress with the high school to uni transition, and like big questions indulge, like are you even, and self-doubt as well, like am I even ready for this and everything. And honestly speaking, I felt this too, but now that I've had a successful transition into university from high school, I realized that there's not actually a lot to be worried about. I've learned to just slow things down and prioritize things in life, and you develop a new mentality and perspective on things too, right? Just living and learning. And a pressure I've been dealing with recently is just keeping up with my studies. Maybe since my whole uni experience so far has just been behind a screen, I haven't really felt the pressure of university properly. But one thing I can say is I forced myself to become more responsible and take things in my career more seriously, because it just feels like yesterday I was in high school and now I'm paying a tuition fee for myself to get an education. So the main pressure is just learning how to become independent.
So Simrit, thank you first off for the advice and the comfort that you've given me and Emery with that answer. But even like right now, if I am to talk about how I am feeling about this change, I am stressed. And I think it's very daunting because not only are you paying huge amounts in tuition, you're also responsible for your own learning. And as I think most people have told me, is that the teaching system on how teachers are from high school and how professors are in university are very different. So personally, I am very terrified on how this is going to be, whether I'm going to be able to manage my time correctly, whether I'll be able to teach myself the things I need to teach, or whether, honestly, like to sum it up, whether I'll be able to make it through university, because some people do drop out, and that is a huge fear for me. And I know Amrit's feeling similarly. So what do you have to say, Amrit?
Yeah, I'd say I have like all of the exact same fears, but adding on to that, I want to talk about a little bit about the pandemic. So like Simrit, her first semester of university is online, and that's pretty disappointing, right? Because we've been waiting for this moment all our lives. Like, oh my God, we're going to go to university, we're going to meet new people, we're going to have these professors, we're going to join clubs. There's going to be like this whole environment that's totally different from high school, right? And so to have it online is just a little bit more stressful. And I am scared, obviously, of joining university because it's like we have our whole lives ahead, right? We don't know what's going to happen. And so like this is kind of the moment where we kind of decide what we want to do for the next few years at least. And so it's kind of scary because what if you don't make the right decision, or what if you make the right decision but then something goes wrong, right? So yeah. And then another thing with COVID, it's kind of stressful thinking about like our semester might be online too, because I know online learning has been quite hard for myself, and I'm pretty sure for you guys as well. And so it's just like you said about time management and how I'm going to teach everything to myself. It's scary.
Okay, so I just want to give you guys some advice that all the things you've heard about university, how stressful it is and everything, it's not as bad as you expect it to be. Like, honestly speaking, you guys just need to relax and remind yourself that you've gone this far. And once you start university, you teach yourself things, right? Like, I was not good with time management or making a schedule for myself. But once I like gave myself that discipline, like, no, like I'm in university now, I'm paying for my own education, I can't be messing around and not take this seriously, right? So you just learn, it's just part of life. That like, so don't be so scared. Like, if you're applying to uni, that means you've already set a goal for yourself, and that's just a step closer to what you're trying to achieve. And so, like, just for some motivation, like I told you guys, I wasn't the best student in middle school or high school, and here I am studying in university for a degree. So if I can do it, I know you guys can for sure. And any kids that are watching, like, it's okay. It's gonna be okay.
Thank you for that very comforting piece, because I know I've been terrified. I know Amrit's been terrified. We've been talking about this a lot, like keeping the application aside. The change cannot be easy. That's what we've been thinking. But thank you, because that's not only motivating, but comforting in the way that I have more confidence that I got it, that I will be able to get through it.
Yeah, I agree. I want to say thanks to you've told me this a million times, like that it is gonna be okay. But there's just like it's the community, it's the outside pressures, right? Because like the teachers right now, especially, they're like, oh my God, you guys got to do this, you guys got to do that, you guys got to like tighten up, right? And so it's kind of pressurizing, but that helped a lot. So thanks, Imrit.
Now, me and Amrit have gone through a part of the application process. So I guess, Amrit, do you have any words of wisdom for people who are just starting to apply, maybe?
Yeah, so I know a lot of my peers actually haven't even started, and they will apply as time comes. And we did early admission, so we have a bit of a head start. And I just want to say, I guess we're exaggerating it, how stressful it is, because it, like Simrat said, it really isn't that bad, right? It's like personal preference. I guess we all have different tolerance to pressure, but it's really not that bad. As long as you can get yourself organized in a timely manner, you should be okay. So my advice is really explore and like research and look for options, right? Like if you're still deciding what you want to do, and if you're a little bit scared of the application process, I guess just think about what you're really getting into, organize some time, take out some time, and put it towards finding what works best for you and all the dates and organizing everything, and you should be good to go.
Yeah, I would have.
Oh, sorry, go on.
No, it's okay. You can go first.
I was just gonna say, yeah, like the main thing is just having self-confidence in yourself. If you're applying to university, you're obviously going in with a mindset that you're gonna come out with a degree, right? So just stick to your plan, and everything's just gonna fall into place. Just have like discipline and self-confidence, and everything's gonna be okay. And yeah, so once you start university, everyone goes in thinking like, I need to focus on my career. Like this is where like the most important time is. And obviously that's all true. But one of the most important things along with that is also just living life. Like once you start university, that's like your adult life starts, right? So just like live your life. Don't be so like, I know Marie, like she's stressed about school all the time. And I always tell her, like, it's okay, take a deep breath, right? Like life isn't all just about school and studying. There's way more. Like you'll learn how to calm yourself down even when it just comes to school, but just don't forget to just live.
Thank you for those words of wisdom. Thank you. I know something like throughout the process, the one thing that I've learned is that if I've put in my effort and if I am working towards my goal, that's good. That's all I need to do. Just being able to see that I want to get there and putting in the work is honestly all that you can do, and just hope for the best after that.
That's a really good mindset. Yeah, like just have faith in yourself and you'll do whatever you want to get done.
Having this conversation, I think for Amrit as well, it's been very helpful just getting out what I feel and listening to Simrit, who's an experienced person, let us know what it's actually like. Because I do think there's a lot of like false assumptions about what it's like, especially in university. Like I'm excited. I'm excited for what's going to come ahead, but I'm also stressed. So it's nice talking about it like this. Thank you, Simrit. Thank you, Amrit, for your great input today. And thank you, everyone, for watching. If you have any advice for us, please do let us know, because, again, too much advice won't be a bad thing in this situation.